Creating a sacred healing space. It's important that you create an indoor space that brings you peace of mind. By creating an external space, an environment for yourself that is welcoming, it will influence your physical, emotional, and mental health. Because everything in our environment affects our moods. We get all of our data through our senses. Things like the light of a room, the color, the smell, the sounds will affect our mood and actually releases molecules that make us feel good, like dopamine, serotonin, and the endorphins. So maybe you haven't thought about the importance of creating or having a sacred room, or maybe you have created a space already, and that's great. Being intentional now about what your space will look like, what it will feel like, and what will it smell like will greatly affect your well-being, especially during a time like this. So here's some tips on trying to help you create your indoor space. First, start with closing your eyes and think of that safe, sacred place that brings you warmth, that inspires you, that makes you peaceful, that brings joy into your life. What does that space look like for you? Where is that place? And if you want to include anyone in your sacred space, who would you like to include in that space with you? Then let's start by finding a place in your home. And when you have found that place, create a space that is free of clutter. Because like I said before, we take on sensory data from our external environments. And if it is cluttered, it will reflect in your mind. While our internal environment affects our external, so does the external influence our internal. So let's first think about where you want to put that space. It doesn't have to be a very large area. It could even be a corner in your room. It's just a place to where you go to, or if you pass it by, it triggers that relaxation response or reminds you to take some time for yourself. So let's think about the things that might make you feel peaceful and engage your senses now to help create that space that's going to bring you peace and calm. So let's start with sight. Maybe you really enjoy being in nature and you just can't be in it right now because we know that we're all stuck at home. So having a picture of something that you enjoy in nature, whether it's flowers or trees, or maybe of the people that inspire your spirit, you could always hang those pictures up in that area. So making an area that is near a window with lots of sunlight may also be something that could help. Having sunlight pour through to that area that you are creating for yourself as sacred and healing is really important to help uplift your spirits. Did you know that those people who are sick and who have access to sunlight actually require 20% less pain medications? So the power of having sunlight come into your sacred space or into the room that you are creating for your healing will be very beneficial. Something that I like to do as well, and something you can consider to add into your space, is placing either a desk waterfall. I love the sound of water, and so I like to put that either on my desk or have one that's standing. And that nature sound brings me real feeling of tranquility. Maybe having a CD with nature sounds is something you have if you can't get a waterfall, if you like that. Or maybe it's some calming music. Smells create calmness, and they do trigger the relaxation response, specifically aromatherapy, and it actually makes me feel a lot calmer. I especially like the smell of lemongrass. And then the next thing I would recommend is having a comfortable chair or cushion. And if you don't see yourself sitting in this sacred space, but more standing and doing something else, then I say bringing texture to your walls or having soft objects that you can hold that give you a feeling of warmth. And for the finishing touches of your room, I would recommend adding personal, meaningful objects or pictures that might be sacred for you. Maybe they're spiritual symbols, maybe they're pictures of your family, or maybe they're just objects that mean something to you. Just remember, your room doesn't have to be big. The point of it is when you either see it, smell it, or pass by it, it instantly sparks that joy and reminds you to relax So by intentionally creating this healing space for yourself and intentionally entering it, engaging your senses while you're using the space, you're creating a habit of bringing attention to your own self-care, entering into a wholesome internal healing space.